For a retirement income of $50,000 a year, you'll need to save roughly $1.7 million by your mid-30s.
Wait, what? I'm the fireman, and I'm trying to reach financial independence before I turn 30 years old. And I've been part of the Financial Independence Retire Early, or FIRE community, since I was in high school, so I was really excited to see this video that the Plain Bagel put together where he was giving his thoughts on it. I'll just say up front that I'm a pretty big fan of the Plain Bagel's channel. It's pretty no-nonsense and accurate from what I've seen, and this video on the Financial Independence Retire Early community was no different. Still, there are two things that I think the Plain Bagel got wrong about financial independence, or at least warrant a little more attention. First up is the feasibility of financial independence. Now, I know there are a lot of people that think financial independence is unattainable for them. And look, I also know that the only reason I'm able to reach financial independence before I turn 30 years old is because I got a relatively high-paying data analyst job as soon as I graduated college. Even so, I'm a big believer that everyone could reach financial independence if they learned about it early enough, and that's why I make these YouTube videos. While it's obviously easier for some than others, I think everyone can retire early. So what did the Plain Bagel have to say about this?
Retirement is, after all, something most of us only expect to achieve in our 60s, and even that isn't a possibility for some. A Federal Reserve study from 2019 showed that only 45% of non-retirees in their 60s believed their savings were on track for retirement, with 13% having no retirement savings whatsoever.
An impossibility? That's some pretty strong language, and I think this logic is kind of misleading. A large number of nearly retirement age people not being financially independent doesn't mean that financial independence is impossible. It just means that these people didn't follow the principles of financial independence, or had some other circumstances that prevented them from doing that. So this in no way shows that financial independence isn't doable. It just shows that a lot of people aren't doing it. Had these non-retirees learned about financial independence earlier in their careers, maybe they'd be feeling more financially secure. The sad fact that so few people save is exactly why spreading the message of financial independence and retire early is so important to me. I think financial independence is within reach for a lot more people, they just don't know how to do it. Second, I think there's a big misconception about who the financial independence movement is for. The whole goal of the FIRE movement is to reach financial independence, and for many to actually retire, as early as possible. And that means many of the most successful adherents to financial independence principles are able to retire in their late 20s. Many of them cross a net worth of $1 million in their early 30s. But once again, those are the most successful followers of the financial independence movement. Most people that I know personally that are pursuing financial independence are looking closer to their 40th birthday or their 50th birthday. People attempting to reach financial independence as early as I am are typically way more frugal than even the average minimalist or have crazy high salaries, maybe a mix of both. That's why I was surprised when the Plain Bagel said this.
For a retirement income of $50,000 a year, you'll need to save roughly $1.7 million by your mid-30s.
Hold on, by your mid-30s? Last I checked, the standard retirement age was 67, not 40. If you had that money in your early 60s, you would still be retiring early. Retiring at 50 is still over 15 years more than a lot of your peers. Retiring at 40 is like 3 decades. So yeah, many of the spokespeople for financial independence did amass their wealth by their mid-30s. But it's absolutely not 30 or bust. The FIRE movement is not just for stock traders or tech geeks, even if financial independence is a really popular idea in those communities. There's something for everyone to learn. Now, while I wanted to make this video to point out two ideas that I thought were kind of misleading, the Plain Bagel did make a lot of great points, and I wanted to give credit where credit is due and go over some of them. First off, the Plain Bagel did a great job of recognizing that frugality underpins the financial independence movement. While I think everyone can reach financial independence, that's because I think everyone can cut their expenses. That's important because so many other wealth influencers I've seen don't want to acknowledge that. They want to tell you what you want to hear, which is that you could be filthy rich. Even worse, some of them will sell you snake oil to do it. The Plain Bagel also made an astute observation by pointing out that the 4% rule greatly oversimplifies taxes. Now, I've made a video on the 4% rule before, and if you factor in post-retirement taxes, the 4% rule still probably holds. That being said, depending on how you manage retirement accounts or some other factors, some of those situations might change, and that could change some underlying assumptions of the 4% rule. Lastly, I was happy to see the Plain Bagel point out that while the FIRE acronym combines financial independence and retire early, the first doesn't always mean the latter. Honestly, I doubt I'll completely retire at 30 years old. The fact that I'm working full-time, running this YouTube channel, running firemansblog.com, and staying a competitive athlete is maybe a sign that I really like staying busy. The peace of mind and knowing that work is an option is much more important to me than actually doing nothing. I might keep working, I just want to know that whatever I do is a choice. So huge shout out to the Plain Bagel. The more people that learn about financial independence, the better. I hope my two very minor critiques add something to this conversation. If you've watched this video, let me know in the comments what you thought about it. And while you're down there, smash the like button. And whoa there, before you go running, last week I made a video about my payday routine and how I'm trying to save $50,000 this year. If you want to see how I'm managing it, you need to watch this video right here. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time.